Hi,
Hello, welcome back.
my name's Kurt,
And I'm Jacqueline.
and this is the JK Not Really podcast.
Yes, and it's our 13th podcast,
Lucky
Kurt.
13.
Damn, lucky 13. I never thought of it that way. But
So-
anyway, jeez.
It's progressing. I think what we're doing here is really important, considering the state of the world.
Yes.
Every week there's so much to talk about. I feel
Oh
like
my
we have such
God.
a hard time finding, what are we going to talk about? Which one?
I feel like I'm going to college, I'm going back to the university and doing all my homework and studying, taking notes. This is just ridiculous.
I wish there was just like one thing that we could
Yeah.
focus on, but this fight is like they're really just throwing spaghetti at the wall and seeing what sticks.
Oh, it's ridiculous. Well, that brings us to,
the
today.
first 100 days
Yes.
of our President Trump.
Yes, which we call the clown show of fascism. That's what it was on one article today. I forget.
No,
where.
it is a
But-
clown show.
But
I
it
mean,
is.
across the board. He's polling low.
Oh, yeah.
Even Fox News has him polling
Yeah.
low.
Oh, and he's so pissed.
And yeah, I mean, he was saying, "Oh, the polls are witch hunt."
yeah, they're
Election
not real.
interference.
And
But
yes,
election, Trump.
yeah, or something
You already
like that.
won.
Trump, he's all about the numbers, and when the numbers are not looking good for him, and then even Fox, I mean, Jesus, he's probably,
Well, everyone's having a hard time trying to spin whatever he's doing, and
Yeah.
it's because his policies are wildly unpopular with everyone. I mean, no one likes that he's not listening to the Supreme
No.
Court.
right.
No one thinks that people should be just sent away to encampments
Yeah,
in another country
another
with
country.
no trial.
Yeah, innocent people, I might say.
Most Americans that aren't like
No.
crazy fascist weirdos that are brainwashed into the MAGA cult know that what's happening is just not what America is about.
No, exactly. And I don't even know if I still think he's just like a cardboard cutout of a president. And, they just put him there. And then all the people behind him are, doing all the workings, like Stephen Miller and all these people, the Heritage Foundation. Come on. They're all the ones that are putting all this administration, whatever he's trying to push. They're the ones that are doing it for him. He's just following along and signing. I don't even think he reads half the shit he's signing.
Well, I feel like, too, that he's one of those people that the last thing someone told him to do or told him was a good idea
that's true.
is what he believes at the moment. Like, he's
Exactly.
like, oh, he used to be all about whatever Elon said.
Yeah.
Where the is Elon? No,
Yep.
he's nowhere. But now everyone else that just talks to him, he thinks that's the next thing. And I think these people are taking advantage of that.
Oh, they totally are. He's the puppet. I
The
swear
Trump
to God.
puppet.
He's the Trump puppet.
And whoever thought he could run the country when he couldn't run a casino in Atlantic City? Like, how hard is it to run an casino? Those things like suck money in.
I know.
But he bankrupted
exactly.
3 of them.
I mean, everybody says he's like, he's a businessman. He could run the country.
He's a failed businessman.
He's a failed businessman. He had so many bankruptcies. I mean, come on.
And we're learning that he's a failed businessman.
Hardly.
With how he's handling the country. I mean, he is not a good CEO
No.
of the country. He is just driving us into ruin.
Yeah.
But you can tell from the simple things. It's not always like the big picture, but
Yeah.
like how he acted at the Pope's funeral. For
Oh,
instance.
God. Come on. Jesus. Talk about a dress code. She was supposed to wear black.
He wore blue.
A black suit or just black and a black tie. No, he wore blue. And he sat in the front seat. I don't know how he got the front seat seating. He must have pushed his way through. Or he did a deal with, as they're walking in, they have a person that greets them and then walks them to where they need to be seated. I saw him talking to them. He probably said, well, no, I'm not going to go sit over there on the fifth one. You're going to switch me out. You're going to put Biden over there, and I'm sitting in the front row.
If I don't get the front row, I'm going to tariff the shit out of this place.
Yeah, the Vatican. Okay. So he sat in the front row, and what did he do? He sat there and he slept.
Yeah, he slept
He
through the
fell
funeral.
asleep.
And there's photos of the people next to him just like completely disgusted.
Oh, God. And he's the one that came up with the nickname for, Sleepy Joe Biden. You know what I'm saying? And Joe Biden was wide awake, boy. He was doing flips and all kinds of stuff, shaking hands, talking away. And poor Trump sitting there just...
fall asleep.
He fell asleep. Even Melania looked over at him, gave him a dirty look, but she didn't nudge him or anything.
She loves it. More than we do.
Yeah, probably so, Kirk.
So, there's Sleepy Joe. And then so back to the nicknames, right? Because people were looking at Trump and they were making these disgusted faces on all the photos I saw.
I noticed that.
And I thought maybe it's because he's sleeping. And no, I think it's because he smells like poop because he poops himself and wears a diaper.
Are you kidding?
That's what people are saying.
For real?
That has incontinence and
he is.
He always smells
like
poop.
Oh dear. Well, that's not good.
So that's why he's Dumpy Trump. We have Sleepy Joe and Dumpy Joe.
Dumpy, slumpy Trump. Slumpy, dump Trump. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that's too much.
So, who knows if it was the disgraceful behavior or the smelly diaper, but people were not happy with how he acted. And on the world stage, that wasn't like a local event.
No.
That was everyone in the world. That's the Catholic Church.
Yeah, that was, oh well.
And so, craziness, but that's just an example of how he's just not running the country very well. Another example, because he's bad at global politics, another example of a different thing is the tariffs.
Right, of course.
Right?
That's one of why his poll numbers are down, the tariffs, because
people are pissed.
They're pissed. I mean, even the billionaires and the corporations are like, oh my God, he has to stop doing this.
He's driving down the value of the dollar.
Well, exactly.
Everyone's running to China.
Right. No one's going to invest in America anymore. And it's going to be hard for us to come back. And seriously.
So Jeff Bezos had said, and of course, just before we went on, he flipped. He said he was going to list the tariff charges on items coming through Amazon.
Right.
Trump got angry about that because it makes him look bad. I'm sorry, Trump. The tariffs make you look bad.
Exactly.
Not anyone saying anything about them.
Well, what Mr. Bezos was trying to do, he was trying to educate the public to give them some kind of explanation of why the shipping costs are so high or why, so he was breaking it down as you would go to do the purchase to see where your money is. So he was basically educating people and saying, well, this is why the prices are higher. This is why they've gone up. Trump didn't like it because that is actually educating people and it's actually, telling people that it is a tax and that it is going to be taxed on you and you're the one that's going to end up paying for it. But he doesn't want people to know that.
No. No. And he doesn't want people to know what's happening, but we're going to know what's happening in a few weeks. So I've been seeing people kind of tracking the ships at the shipping yards.
Oh, yeah?
There's not a lot of activity. So there's not shipments coming in from China, literally almost zero. And you have to think China gave us about 30% of all of our goods.
Oh, yeah. And
so without that 30% of stuff, what I think we're going to see in a couple weeks is empty shelves.
Yep. Unless Trump red hats, his MAGA hats, because he gets all those made in China.
Yeah, there's not going to be any
So that's a
hats.
good thing. That might be a good thing. There won't be any hats. Is that why he's going to white? No, he still makes them over there. It doesn't matter if they're red or white, blue, black.
Well, where people are going to, when they finally realize that it's a bad idea, is the school supplies.
Oh.
Okay, let's talk about how everything you get for your kid to go to school comes from China.
That's
the
true.
little plastic things. And
the pencil holders.
The little
the
notebooks.
Lunchbox.
Pencils.
Crayons. All
markers.
that.
That's all made in China.
Oh, dear.
And electronics is another one. My computer's been slowing down and I'm kind of worried about it. I mean, it's only a few years old, but I'm also like, maybe I need to go stock up.
You better go buy two
laptops ready to go.
Exactly, ready to go.
But, people are saying that maybe the tariffs would, because people might be scared that things will be scarce, so that people are going to go do the panic shopping. And that's also not happening because I think people are just scared that, of the money, the current that they don't have enough money.
They don't have enough money. I think they're more scared about that. Yeah.
So they're like, we'll just save our money wherever we can.
Because there will be supplies, but there'll be less of them, but the price will be higher. So, yeah, it's not going to be good. Yeah, we'll start to see it.
No, we're heading towards our economic death spiral, if you will.
Yes. Yes. So what else? I mean, his executive orders. Man.
Another example of how he's not leading the country well are his executive orders.
I mean, how many did he do? Like, what, 350 sometimes? I don't know. He did a lot of them, and he still does them. And then sometimes he'll even do them, you know, when he doesn't want anybody to notice, he'll do them like on Saturday night at midnight. I don't know. What do they do? Wake him up and say, sign this, sir. Right. The cardboard box.
They just bring in a cheeseburger and a pen and have him sign an executive order in the middle of the night.
But this latest one, which was signed in the middle of the night, is the law enforcement one, which is basically about what you say, martial law.
I mean, basically, the police departments won't be held accountable for things that they're doing. They're going to be given more resources from the military and from the National Guards. And so you tell me what a police force that doesn't regulate themselves.
No, exactly. He's creating the red jackets. Like, remember,
the Red Army.
The Red Army that Hitler did. And they were the ones that went door to door and they took out the Jews and they actually beat up people in front of people in the streets to create fear. And this is all part of what, you know, how you turn a democracy into an authoritarian.
Well, this will be the muscle. I mean, the police
and that's
departments
what's
will
happening.
have no consequences, more military equipment and military personnel. That's not, you know, basically martial law. I don't know what is, you know, except when they suspend our civil rights, which is next.
This is why it's so important, and I usually say this at the end, is when we protest, that's why it's so important that it's peaceful, okay? No fighting, nothing, because with this executive order, he's giving them, you know, permission. If there's any kind of violence or anything, they're going to go and they're going to just, you know, attack and arrest and all that. And probably he will send out, you know, MAGA people and they'll go out there and they'll try to instigate. But don't fall for it. It has to be a peaceful protest. We're not going to let this happen.
Well, and it's going to be a form of control too, because who do you think is going to get the resources? You think the California police departments are going to get the resources?
No.
Or do you think like Kentucky is going to get
resources,
tanks and stuff, you know?
Oh my God, I never thought of it that way, but you're right.
So it's another way he can control how the states, what the states have as far as, you know, what their police departments have and what they're doing. I mean, it's horrible. It's scary.
Well, it is scary, but this is why people need to educate themselves and, you know, what actually is a dictator and what actually happens when your democracy is starting to deteriorate. And you got to understand history and how, you know, Hitler did or any of the other, you know, leaders, dictators have done it in their countries. We're doing the same thing. We're following the same steps. And if we know that, then you won't be able to be fooled by stuff that comes out. And you're warned. And you got to realize we need to speak out now because we're in it. We're not waiting to cross the red line. We are in a constitutional crisis right now. So what do we have to do? We have to stand up to everything right now. And we have to learn to predict, too, what's going to happen next.
It's so hard, though, because if you try to react to anything that's happening, the next thing's already started.
Well, I know.
You know, so it's...
But they do that with distraction, and he's so good at this. He does it this way, Kurt. He always puts... There's always something going on, some multitude of things, boom, boom, that you don't even know what to concentrate on. You know, it gets overwhelming. But that's why we're here.
Well, what we need to concentrate on is cut the head off the snake. Right? Trump needs to go because, and not just him, but a lot of his cabinet members have to go too.
Oh,
we'll get into that.
We'll get into
that. An authoritarian, like the definition of an authoritarian, is to a style of governance leadership, or behavior characterized by strong central power and limited political freedoms.
Right.
In an authoritarian system, authority is concentrated in one leader or a small group, and there's little or no input or opposition allowed from the public. Right? So power is centralized. That's basically what he did by cucking Congress.
Exactly.
And, the Senate isn't having it, but we really need Congress for anything to happen.
Well, they have the power to stop it. They just won't.
And then
they're a cult now. They're not even politicians anymore.
No.
They're a cult.
Then the Supreme Court is a radicalized court, even though they're
getting pissed off, though, because,
they really should have thought about that before they gave him immunity to do whatever the hell he wants.
Exactly.
But, they're not
because
very happy.
he will get rid of you. He won't need the Supreme Court. He won't need judges.
Political opposition is restricted or suppressed. What do you guys think this immigration stuff is? It's a setup to where he can just start shipping people away that oppose him and not send them to a different... You can't deport Americans because where you deport them, we're Americans, but you can send them to a internment camp in El Salvador.
Well, or he may even privatize prisons, and I think that's actually in this executive order where they're going to do more prisons.
I think he prefers to send them away because then he has better control of the ones left behind. So
I guess so.
I mean, I think that's the next step, though. But for now, he's sending everyone to internment slave camps.
Yeah.
And then civil
liberties, when they start taking away your freedom, which, that's
happening.
Well, it's the due process. Sorry.
And the executive order for the law enforcement to basically be able to kill you and you have no recourse.
Right.
There we go. I mean,
civil liberties.
That's some freedom lost there.
Yeah, freedom of speech. Well, you're not going to be able to say what you want. That'll be us here. We may be even targeted for something like that.
We gotta keep talking while we can.
Yes.
And then the leaders often rule by decree rather than through democratic process. And that's completely what's happening. I mean, the executive orders, the not listening to the court, the radicalization of his followers. It's just...
Yeah.
Not to be scary, but, I think we all should.
He even arrested a judge, okay? So he's trying to, be tough and be a bully and try to do that, okay? But you know what he's doing? He's pissing off all the judges. I mean, really, seriously. I'm hoping this works against him in a sense. I know what they're trying to do with this because they're trying to scare them so that way the judges they'll judge for him instead of against him.
This is a good reason why the head of the FBI was always kind of non-political position, but now we have Kash Patel, who's basically a sycophant.
Yes.
A Trump sycophant.
Sycophant.
And he's the one that arrested that judge. 2 federal felonies, obstruction of justice and concealing an individual, when really she was upholding the law because they had just ruled that he was not to be deported.
Yeah.
And so when she knew that ICE was there coming into the courtroom...
So she sent him through another door. Exit, yeah. Which, she was doing her job.
She was upholding the law.
She was upholding the law. But of course they're saying that she wasn't.
ICE is breaking the law.
Yes, exactly.
And if you look at what the Supreme Court has been ruling... They're definitely breaking the law because they're saying, you have to do due process. So,
well, that's another thing that's in this executive order, Kurt, is they're also saying that even judges, you cannot go against any official like ICE or a police officer or anything. If they're doing their job, you cannot obstruct it. And that's why he did that, because of this.
That's your freedoms. Your freedom's going away.
Yes, it is. It's deteriorating. And it is scary, but you know what? We got to be courageous and we just got to stand up. We got to stand up and keep doing what we're doing because it is working. We can save it. We can save it.
And, there's good examples of it working. I mean, the protests, he's scared. I mean, that's the only reason he's doing a lot of this stuff, is he thinks that he might be thrown out of power. Hey, thanks for watching.
Yes, don't forget to subscribe.
Like, share, subscribe. And ring the little bell.
And ring the little bell. Just what he said.
Everything you do to interact with this video helps us to create more content and gets our word out to more people. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
I guess how desperate they're getting is like those airing of those commercials, right? The Hillsdale Christian College
yeah. See, and this
commercials.
is where you need to watch out because you think, oh my God. We actually saw the advertisement, I think, yes. One advertisement, and it's from a website called Hillsdale.org. And actually, I researched it. Well, first of all, it was a commercial about...
Do not go to Hillsdale.org.
Yeah, it was, no, do not go there. Advertising a free course on the Constitution. And then, of course, they interviewed some people in there, and it's basically a very conservative take on the Constitution. So they're gonna basically teach you their interpretation of the Constitution. Okay, then we saw another commercial from the same people about a free course, the Bible. Okay, so again, they're going to try and teach you, their interpretation of the Bible. Now, I did a little research on who Hillsdale is, and they're a college. It's a Christian college in Michigan, I believe. And they're very conservative, and they're all about pushing the Christian agenda onto politics. So this is propaganda. This is where they're trying to educate people, and they're going to get them brainwashed about their interpretation of the Constitution. So that way, because they're going to go and want to change it, they're going against the Constitution, and this is going to give them. The people are going to say, oh, well, that's right. It was just, you see?
Jesus,
well,
right?
Exactly. This is Heritage Foundation written all over it.
This is a theocracy. They're trying to turn it into a theocracy.
Yes, exactly. And that's the agenda of Project 2025. All this that we're telling you and all this is happening, it's all there. I know if you want to look it up, you could look it and read it. I mean, it's like 500,000 pages. I don't know. It's very long. But they are following it to the T.
It's so un-Christian to worship Trump the way that they do. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you're a true Christian, you're not supposed to be worshiping no other man. And you're also not supposed to be worshiping someone who paid a porn star to be quiet while he was running for president.
It's very hypocritical. It's unreal. It's unreal. And I'll bring it up again, although we should do a whole segment on this just alone, how they're trying to erase the women. They really are. I mean, I believe there's another executive order. I want to look more into it, but it will affect women's financial freedoms. I mean, this is about going back the way it was when you needed your husband to co-sign for you to apply for a credit card. Okay? That was back, I think, in the 50s. It wasn't too long ago. And actually, it's only been a little over 100 years where women actually have earned the right to vote. Okay? They want to take it all the way back, okay? All the way. Now they're paying mothers $5,000 to have children. And they're giving an award for women who have more than 6 children. How come I never got an award, but I didn't just to have 2, I think I deserve an award, at least a bronze. Maybe not a gold, I could get a bronze. I had 2 kids. But this is what I'm saying.
I'm glad you bring it up, too, because if you talk to a Republican about women's rights and how this administration is not doing right by women, they come back and they say, well, what about the transgenders in sports? That's not women's rights. And I'm like, okay, the 2 people
come on.
who are like Olympic swimmers or bowlers or whatever that are
2?
transgender, like,
come on. Yeah.
I think that's a lot less important than sending possibly an innocent person to an enslavement camp, or making it harder for all women who are married and have changed their names to vote.
Exactly.
So care about the one person transgender in the swim team in some, what is it, like less than 10% of people who play sports?
I know.
Which
Isn't
is
it
even
ridiculous?
smaller percentage of the population.
No, this is what they're doing. It's the old school. They want the men to father many children, just like Elon Musk says. He has 13 kids. One of them is transgender, by the way. She's the one that doesn't like him. She stands out and she talks bad about him and stuff. Good for her. Anyway, but this is the whole agenda. How do you fight this? Well, you need to watch what's that series? The Handmaid's Tale.
Handmaid's Tale.
That'll tell us how to fight this. But that's exactly what's happening. It's so bad that we have to rely on a fictional book or story in order to deal with today's problems for women.
What's happening is very Orwellian. I mean, only a creative writer could come up with.
I know.
If back in the Bush era,
Yeah.
you were to tell me there's going to be a president that comes and does all this stuff,
I would be
like, no.
You're kidding.
No one would ever.
No.
That sounds like a movie. Not even a good movie.
Not even a good movie.
You know? Because at least in the good movies, the bad guy presidents or whoever,
Yeah.
at least they like try to cover it up. He just like blatantly is breaking the law.
No, he totally does it. And that brings up to the impeachment. Did you tell me that they're bringing up Congress member?
So they filed for articles of impeachment. Congressman Sri Thanedar, and I'm hoping I'm saying his name right, a Democrat from Michigan, filed 7 articles of impeachment against President Donald Trump. The charges
7.
include abuse of power, obstruction of justice, bribery, corruption, violations of the First Amendment rights, and what Thanedar described as tyrannical overreach.
Wow.
Tyrannical overreach.
Wow, good
So,
for them.
first formal impeachment attempt. There's some more momentum. There are even, what really pisses me off, there are even Democrats who are like, oh, it's not time yet. It's freaking time.
No, it is time.
It is
time.
Excuse me. It's time. And everyone should back up against him. And what I want, and I hear that there's a movement right now that's really awesome. There's a group that's doing this, that's going to each congressperson and saying, we need your stance on this impeachment on record now.
Yes.
And they're like, are you going to vote or no? And this is people too. It's a group of people doing this. So
Great.
The people are also kind of backing this up.
Yes.
There's Al Green from Texas, Omar of Minnesota, Lillian Omar.
Okay.
They've indicated plans to pursue impeachment measures against Trump as well. And of course, they have to get this through the most conservative Congress led by the pedophile-looking weird glass dude.
Yeah, you said he looked like the Chuck E. Cheese.
Oh yeah, the Chuck E. Cheese
mascot.
mouse.
Yeah, mouse.
I hate him.
I know, I hate him too.
Johnson.
Oh God.
I can't
anyway.
wait till he's out of the picture. I mean, but you know, they're gonna have to really fight hard to do this. Any Republican that is saying that what's going on isn't impeachable is
It's ridiculous.
they need to be primaried.
And how we do this is we keep on protesting. We still do the town halls because we got to put pressure on all these Republican congressmen because, you know, and the way to do that, I was going to say this at the end, but is we need to do signs when we protest. And it's real simple, just 3 words, because you have to tell Congress exactly what you want them to do. So we do it in 3 words. And if everybody has this sign, you know, when we go protesting, then it's really loud. And it's impeach, convict, and remove. So just those 3 words. It could be a small sign, it could be a big sign, just those 3 words, you know, bold font, in your face kind of thing. Then we'll be united in that sense. And hopefully we can maybe convince some of these Republicans to go against Trump and realize, okay, we have to do something. Because they're going to get voted out either way.
I hope that they are able to advance these articles to a formal impeachment inquiry. We'll see. But, you know, some people are saying, like, that this congressman doesn't have any power. You have the people, and I think you have God on your side, too. You know, if there is a God.
Yeah,
but
there is.
You know, you're doing the people's work.
Right.
Because the majority of people are not happy with the way the country's going.
No.
And the majority of people believe he's breaking the law.
He's breaking the law and he's killing people. I'm sorry. Because look at all those poor people in the other countries. They're not getting their food aid or anything. I mean, is that Christian? No, really? Is that Christian? I mean, I know we could go, that's a whole other subject matter, which we do have to talk about because that is just awful. It is just embarrassing. Little kids starving around the world. We stopped all aid. That's just ridiculous.
And not to mention putting RFK in charge
Oh, well, there you go.
of Health and Human Services. Because, I mean, the amount of stuff. And
Yeah.
he's, they're canceling funding and research and stuff. And he was in this interview and they're telling him, like, oh, why would you cancel this? He's, we're going to look at it. Something shouldn't have been canceled, but we're going to reinstate them. You can't just reinstate them. Once you interrupt these researches, like, sometimes these people go back to square one.
I know.
Because they're doing trials that take 5 years.
Exactly.
Longer. So it's just a gross mismanagement. And to come back to the beginning, an example of how there is no one at the wheel. Trump is a failed businessman and he's a failed president.
He doesn't know he's a cardboard cutout.
The only more unpopular president at this time, in this time right now, is him.
Him.
The last time we had him, he was...
It's him.
Actually, I think he's exceeded that now. He is now the most unpopular president, and the second runner-up is him last time.
And then third, Putin. Yeah. Well, that's a lot. But our last thing is we do prick of the week. But
Elon Musk.
Oh, yes. We got to talk about
Like
Elon.
the rest of the world. We forgot about him.
We forgot about him. He's hiding under a rock somewhere.
Trump broke up with Elon Musk.
Yes, they
The
broke up.
bromance is over.
It is over.
He had to go save his car company.
Oh, like he's going to save it, which he's lost like $100 million.
You know how he can save it?
He's never going to save it. He has to
Step
leave.
down and put a woman in charge.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
There you
Elon.
go.
Hello.
Do it. That's what you need to do. But it has to be a liberal woman.
Elon Musk can't run it anymore.
No, he can't.
That's the only way.
No one is going to buy anything from this man ever again.
I mean,
seriously.
Tesla people. Elon's got to go.
Yeah. Was it worth it? Was it worth it, Elon? Was it really worth it?
I mean, you can still do the internet and the space stuff. I mean, I don't think anybody cares about that. But Tesla needs you to go.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
we're just going to have to start a whole thing called Where's Waldo, but we'll call it Where's the Doge?
Well, and I think what happened is that whole election, right, where he meddled and he handed out $1 million checks.
Oh, he totally.
And still everyone voted, and that probably won that election for the Democrats.
Exactly. Exactly. So maybe we do want him around, especially in 2026. Well, let's come invite him to the town halls, guys.
So one thing Trump doesn't like is losers, right? And
that's true.
Anyone that isn't winning, Trump is like, he turns on them. And this is perfect example. Elon Musk is the richest man in the world.
Well, not for long.
But he's a somewhat very powerful person. Enough for Trump to almost associate Musk with his presidency.
Well, he did.
But the moment it became slightly inconvenient, well, not slightly, very inconvenient. Trump dumped his ass.
Dumped him, and
And he's going to do that to everyone.
Everybody's going to get dumped, except maybe Pete. I don't know how much of a loser you have to be to get rid of Pete.
I don't understand.
Jesus Christ!
How he hasn't been
New York Times, for God's sake. I mean, this was 2 days ago or 3 days ago. I can't even imagine.
Hegseth.
Everybody has access to Pete's
phone
mobile phone number. It's on the internet.
His Signal chat phone number is all over the internet. Anyone now has that. Oh, God. I mean, it's bad. That's bad.
Yeah, that is bad. Everybody,
it's not good for national security.
No, they're targeting him. I mean, anybody who knows that wants to get into the.
And I love how it's a picture of him on the phone.
I know, on the phone. At least, did he do his makeup? Because I heard he got a makeup station, too. Oh, he looks pretty good.
Yeah, he looks good.
Did. Yeah, a little eyeliner there. He did pretty good.
Well, they have to cover up his blotchy skin because he has a gin nose.
Oh, he does have a gin nose.
He's just drunk all the time.
No, he is
drunk. But not just drunk, dangerous now.
Very dangerous. And I thought I had heard something about Russian. They caught two Russian spies.
What's her name?
Rachel Maddow?
No, the ex-president that shot that guy.
The ex-president?
The ex-vice president. Liz Cheney.
Liz Cheney.
Liz Cheney's
Yes.
Facebook.
Oh yeah, I read it
Posted,
on
Why
there.
are people talking about this? 2 Russian spies arrested in Germany had his Pete Hegseth number on his phone.
Now that says either, well, they probably got it off the internet, or he's actually right on this. He's probably talking to Putin right now. Okay?
Well,
any world leader has access to any of Trump's cabinet. I'm beginning to think, well, obviously it is happening.
I mean, both can be true. He can be, or it might have been that story came out and then Pete Hegseth was like, let me leak my number so that,
Oh, God,
so that the
no.
world will have it and you can't say that I'm a Russian spy.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
But they're always...
I don't think he's that smart to figure that out. No.
His number probably just got out on the internet.
Yeah.
So anyone with an internet connection can probably get Pete Hegseth's number.
Jesus Christ. I mean, this is not good because we're not safe. We're not safe. And so I guess for Prick of the Week, God, he's really doing it. Maybe we should just give it to him again.
Pete Hegseth again.
It is him again.
You're the Prick of the Week, Pete Hegseth. This is your 3rd in a row. Well, not in a row. We had someone else, but 3rd.
Yeah, God.
You're drunk.
Yep.
You need help.
You need help.
You need to be stopped.
Exactly.
Pete Hegseth.
Yes, and he is an embarrassment. President Trump, for God's sake.
Yeah,
He's an
Trump.
embarrassment to your presidency, if you even care about it. But he's probably at home taking a nap, and you see him on TV, but it's the cardboard cutout. It's the cardboard cutout of him. Sorry, you're not in charge, Trump. You're not in charge. You never were.
Maybe Trump might like having him there just because it's such a distraction from all his shit. He's let Pete Hegseth stay there.
Well, that's probably
leaking.
true.
Next, Pete Hegseth's going to show up to a press conference and he's going to throw up gin all over the damn podium and stab a hooker. Yeah. And we're all just going to be like, oh.
Yeah, exactly. And his mascara will be drawn. His makeup will be totally washed off.
No,
it'll be bad.
Career ending. He should be done.
Congratulations again, Mr. Pete.
You're the prick of the week.
You're the prick of the week again. Hopefully this next week you'll stay out of the news, maybe. I don't know. Anyway, but I think that should do it for today, right?
That's it.
Yeah, that was a long one.
That was a good one, though.
Yeah, it was a good one.
Don't forget to like, share, subscribe
and ring the little bell.
Getting notifications and interacting with our videos helps us to keep posting.
Yes.
And to piss off the MAGAs who are my TikTok followers now. I guess they all like to comment on our stuff and say how horrible we are. So thank you.
Thank you.
Have a wonderful day.
Yes, we'll see you next time.